Here with us here on BTTV, I'm Aabha Bakaya. Markets this afternoon have been slipping after the recent highs, but we recovered some ground. We're down about 400 odd points on the Sensex and Nifty by 123, 18,689. So back below 18,800 is where we're trading at right now. We've got on the downside auto names that are sluggish today, and we'll pull up some of those other losers for you. In fact, let's take a look at the losers first, just to understand where the breath is shaping up, where perhaps we're seeing the maximum amount of declines at this particular hour as well. It's the close of the week and a little bit of volatility coming in. So auto, as I said, Eicher Motors, M&M. We've also got Tata Consumers on the downside today, and a few of the other losers as well. We'll pull up for you on your screens just now. There you have it, Hero, Maruti. So again, it's really auto through and through, isn't it, in today's session. We've got Abhijit Paul joining us. Abhijit, good afternoon. What are you making of the slide today?
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, it's a healthy slide, I would say, because we had a great week. In fact, when was the last time we saw 9 consecutive up moves from the bank Nifty? So this is fine. We can live with this. We've inched to a live high. We've done exceptionally well compared to our peers. So not much of a worry right now, and we would see this as a healthy short-term drop in the overall long-term uptrend.
Okay, so short-term drop there. Let's talk about auto specifically. We've got Maruti coming up with price rises. We've got the two-wheelers lagging a bit. What are you making of the mix of numbers this time round?
Well, see, the auto pack per se was doing exceptionally well, but if you look at over the last 4 to 5 weeks, they've kind of gone sideways. I'm talking about the CNX Auto Index. And this is where the beautiful sectoral rotation is actually playing out so well. We see the IT pick up and the autos actually have slowed down. And this overall thing has actually helped the index inch back to its life high. Range bound, yes, from a short-term point of view. But if I look at the long-term charts of CNX Auto, they are pretty good. They have trended pretty well, and they're just buying some time for a new fresh breakout. Now, we just spoke about amongst the four-wheeler, Maruti Suzuki definitely is one stock that can't be ignored for sure. But over the last 5 weeks, it has, like the CNX Auto, has given what we call as a short-term correction. It has actually given a breakout failure when it moved about that 9,500 mark. It's very likely to stay range bound, 8,500 capped on the downside, 9,500 capped on the upside. But the bias definitely stays bullish.
All right, so that's on the auto names. If we take a look at the week gone by, though, Abhijit, let me get a perspective from you, given the run-up to new highs. Which are the stocks that really stood out for you this week?
Well, amongst the banking, Axis Bank definitely, I think, is one stock that one cannot ignore, even from a short-term trading point of view, as well as a long-term investment point of view. But Axis Bank and HDFC Bank, if the bank Nifty has to continue playing a role going forward, then I surely believe that Axis Bank definitely is one. HDFC Bank and HDFC did pick up late. HDFC Bank relatively better off. It's gone into what we call as a 3-week kind of range, and 1640 is definitely the breakout. What worries me is what I told you before. I don't remember the last time I saw 9 consecutive positive weekly closes from the bank Nifty. So it's a little dizzy right up here. And the kind of move that we have seen in today's trade, the index actually coming off a little bit, I see it's a healthy move. And even if the Nifty loses around 150 to 200 points, it's not much of a worry. But if I have to chase the breakout, cement names, Ultrachem looks really good. Among the banking, I said Axis Bank. Reliance played a very good role, but trading point of view, I might wait a bit, but from a medium-term to long-term cash market portfolio, I think these are very good names to be added.
Okay, great. So that's on banks. What did you make of the move on IT names this time round? And does that prompt you to perhaps take another look, or not so much? Because you even saw it filter into the mid-cap space, where we saw quite a bit of traction as well.
Yes, in fact, the CNX IT index did manage to bottom out very well from its May 21 lows. And if we take a look at the last around 12 weeks, we've got almost, I think, 6, 9, among last 10 weeks, 9 weeks, the index have gone really well. Only 1 week of negative move. Infosys plays an extremely important role here. It led the move right from the beginning at the bottom. If I particularly talk about Infi, then the index, the stock, I'm quite sure is going to get tired out right now, because on the charts it's very, very clear that 16, 40, 50 onwards, it's a very important zone for the stock. It's been the lows of September 21, November 21, Feb 22 lows, and now we're talking about December 22 highs. So 1650, and we can stretch it a little bit, let's say 1670, 1680. 10 positive weekly closes from Infosys. I think TCS some 9 positive weekly closes, one after the other. So as I said, stretched, and from a short-term point of view, a little dizzy. So it's far better to buy them on a dip. If someone had played a contra role and managed to take a risky bet 7-8 weeks back and bought them, pretty good. But now the trend has shifted on the upside. And so now buying on the dip or wait for a correction to the tune of, let's say for Infi, anything sub 1560 would be a very good price. Will it come? Time will tell us. But after 10 consecutive or positive weekly close, definitely it's going to tire out now.
Okay, fair enough. Let's take a look at the Sensex as well, out of interest. Let's take a look at the index itself and the kind of move that we've seen on it this week, or not just this week actually. Let me pull up that chart for you. And if we take a look at the last few milestones, for the Sensex and its move up towards this 63,000 mark, 60 to 61, it actually reached in 4 trading sessions. 61 to 62,000, it actually reached in 10 trading sessions, and then 62 to 63 in another 10. It's really amazing. Give us your takeaways really from the kind of move we've seen on the charts when it comes to the index itself.
Yes, the move has been pretty good. Surprising for the shorts for sure. Now, if we talk about, I personally don't track the Sensex. Nifty is the one for me. So what has happened is it has broken above a big breakout level of around 1840, 18,400, 18,500. And it held really well after it broke out. It actually picked up more steam. Generally, when we see these kind of structural long-term breakouts on the upside, they generally give a throwback. So from a long-term point of view, we are right now trading at 18,800 kind of odd levels. Even if we give back 400, 500 points in a, let's say, a complex down move, ABC kind of a move, as long as even if it comes down to 18,300, I think we are fine. The structure is completely fine. And so the long-term charts have started to look really good. Not to forget the fact that the FII selling for this year has been huge, humongous. And what I feel is this particular move, the FIIs all of a sudden realized the fact that US markets were down, stocks in our country were down 30, 40, even more than 50%. But that did not happen here. And they will feel that what we sold at a lower price 3 months or 6 months back, the same stocks and the sectors we might have to buy now at an all-time high or at a higher price. So they are rushed. I don't think they have rushed at all, because this year, August and last month was a positive FII buying figure around 22,000 CR, not much. But overall, I think the FII buying from here on can lead the move going forward. So structurally, we are good. Even 500 points on the downside from here in the next couple of months, we should be fine.
Okay. Let's talk about picks from the broader markets, because there are a couple of different themes that have been playing out. Tires, something like an HAL, agri-commodities, shipping. What's looking attractive to you from the broader markets if you had to give us your top picks?
Right. HAL definitely one stock which has shown extremely very well structured trend on the upside. But at 27.75, I'm not too keen. Again, the big breakout came when it took out the 2600 mark. The stock generally does not give a very deep correction on the downside. The last meaningful correction from the stock was in a tune of around 14, 15 odd percent. So definitely a stock one should have in their long-term portfolio. But if you don't have it, not at this price, 27.75, if I get it about below 2650, makes sense. Now, cement, definitely a pack that one cannot ignore. Ultrachem, as I said some time back, is one stock which has given a phenomenal move. On the daily charts, it's given a beautiful breakout. It's looking pretty good on the higher time frames also. It needs to deal with 7,400 all the way towards 7,800. But amongst the entire cement pack, Ultrachem, ACC, Ambuja, most of them are looking pretty good. Little stressed as I look at Ultrachem chart right now, 6 positive days, today a little softer, but cements definitely one should look into. Metals, Tata Steel, Hindalco, Tata Motors are also one stock which looks pretty good. Not to forget that if one wants to play contra, then Bajaj Finserv and Bajaj Finance, these two stocks have not played a role at all over the last couple of weeks, more than a couple of weeks. So contra play, one can see a bounce back next week from these two stocks. So close eye in the finance pack, particularly Bajaj Finserv and Bajaj Finance.
All right, fair enough. Those are quite a few interesting picks there that Abhijit shared with us for you to keep in mind and track. You know, I'm just also curious, you know, on some of those consumer plays that have, you know, rocketed of late. Just curious as to what you're seeing for them as well in terms of levels. Abhijit, whether it's an ITC, a Britannia, some people still prefer an HUL, but we've seen some major moves across these guys.
Yes, particularly Britannia was, you know, the move was parabolic in nature. We saw a big gap up coming on the 7th of November, just took a breather and then just picked it up from here. Exceptional charts. Now, I've been in the market for 18 years now, and I always thought stocks like Britannia, Nestle, ITC are for your evergreen cash market portfolio. You can trade them, okay, but they are stocks that you should definitely have in your portfolio. Now, the point is, if I'm starting a portfolio now from scratch, 44.29, is it a good price? Now, like all stocks, all sectors, Britannia, Nestle, ITC also corrects, right? And so I would suggest that have some patience, and for Britannia, 4K level is not bad. When the market comes down, this stock will also, but don't chase. It doesn't make sense to chase the market at this juncture. ITC, after you know, quarters of staying within a range, has finally given that huge breakout, and the long-term charts have improved phenomenally. And same story over here also. I would say that 337 for a long-term player definitely is not the place. You should probably get it sub 320 makes sense. So the thing that comes out is we can trade in and out of the market from a short-term point of view, any sector, any stock index also. But if I have to add stock sectors in my portfolio, then this is not the right time or price. In fact, for someone who churns, this is not a bad time or price to probably go a little underweight and look for better levels on the downside. I'll end up the FMCG talks and the consumption talks with Hindustan Unilever. Now, tricky. The structure, long-term structure is fine, but tricky because it's struggling to take out that 2,700 mark on the upside. I'm talking about long-term levels. Now, recently it gave a move, and 27, 25, it's been struggling since August this year. Multiple times it have come here and it's kind of failed to take it out, which means it's an important level. If it takes out this important level on the upside, it's pretty good, like Britannia and ITC have managed to already do that. 26.17 is not a bad price to start nibbling into the stock, even from a short-term trading point of view. So if you see that the names that you like have actually gone up with the market, I would suggest wait for a short-term dip. And stocks which are giving a fresh move, I think like Hindustan Unilever, can be a short-term buy at this level.
All right, lots of interesting levels to track there in terms of some of these stocks as well. But from the week ahead, any watch out that perspective, closing points on the Sensex and over 100 points on the Nifty.
Yes, for the week ahead, I would like to play a little safer from a trading point of view. Within my community of traders who trades along with me, we've been doing pretty good this month, and this particular week was very good for us. We've picked up most of the long trades pretty well. And so the call is to just step back and enjoy the short-term profits that we made and just wait for the market to play out its part. A contrarian player, as I said, I'm keeping a very close look at these two stocks. These two names, when they move really well. Bajaj Finserv. I'll talk about a little bit of in detail micro level in terms of the levels. Bajaj Finserv particularly looking pretty good. Risky bet because we are anticipating a bounce back, a reversal. Now, 1600, 1620 is the level where the stock has multiple times faced support. September this year, then it managed to find support at the same level in October. And over the last, I think around 8-10 days, every time it comes down to that 1620, it kind of manages to bounce back. And when it's bouncing back, it's facing short-term resistances, as we say, around 1660. So if you take a look at the short-term charts, you'll find 1660 capped on the upside, 1620 on the downside, and it's been oscillating within this, which means that if the stock manages to take out 1660, easily a 40 point, which is the width of the range, opens up. So from a short-term trading point of view, that's not bad. If it extends further beyond that, then beyond 1700 is around 1720, 25. Now, I'll add this that comparatively, Bajaj Finserv played out a far better role today. It's just gone up marginally, but better than what we notice in Bajaj Finance. Now, Bajaj Finance does not have that kind of a support to lean back on, which Bajaj Finserv has. Bajaj Finance is in a downtrend. It's trying not to fall any further, but I don't have any structural level here as of now. Both the stocks move really well. They trend pretty well. So my first bet would be if I want to play contra next week, because the market is stretched, I don't want to chase the sectors or the stocks. So if I have to play contra, then my one bet would be definitely Bajaj Finserv.
All right, great. Thank you so much for joining us, Abhijit, and taking us through your top picks today. Lots of interesting information there. All right, we're winding down to close, 5-6 minutes to go. And as we've been discussing, you know, markets have pulled back somewhat. We were 500 points at one point, 500 points down. We're now about 380. So definitely some pullback coming in towards the end. Nifty also down about 100 odd points, recovered 18,700. So, you know, it's been showing resilience. And like all our experts have been saying, actually through the week, they don't see any reason for concern. And they do see a steady ship over the next couple of months. A little bit of sideways correction or a little bit of rotation here and there, but nothing to be perturbed about is the general consensus. Of course, banks are on everyone's list, and that's an area where we've had a lot of conversation. And through the week, we've had a lot of other interesting stocks catch attention, 52-week highs and otherwise, or some that are just on everyone's list. So we've definitely been seeing consensus building in that respect. But let's pull up some of those top gainers as well, gainers and losers today. On the downside, it was clearly the auto names that stood out. 35 declines on the Nifty today, and out of that, a major chunk were definitely some of those auto majors. Aisha, M&M, I think even Hero, and we'll pull up some more. All of them were on the lower end, yes. Maruti as well, down about 1.5%. HUL also trading soft today. But a few names that managed to see some green in today's session. We'll pull up those for you as well and take a look in a moment. Just as we wind up for the day, let's also take a look. Okay, let's also just quickly take a look at some of the names from the broader markets, and I'll just pull up a bunch of them on your screen, because there we had plenty of spots of green coming in, and you know, whether it was a Radico, BHEL, Astral, Suzlon, Sri Renuka, Varun Beverages, a whole host that were looking good and were running up, in fact, 3 to 4%. PB Fintech, for instance, Apollo Tubes, and a whole lot of others as well. That's where we're going to leave it on the show today. Not too bad a close. I know it's 400 points lower, but it's after a steady week of gains. And overall, we continue to remain fairly steady. We do have a little bit of sports for you from the ongoing FIFA World Cup. Nikhil Nath is joining us for the roundup of all the action from the soccer world. Nikhil? Ah, okay. We've lost his feed, but we will promise to get you more from Qatar on BTTV and otherwise. We're going to leave it there for now. Thanks so much for watching and enjoy your weekend.